Danny Flexon here for Seconds Out with Brian O'Shaughnessy, renowned trainer at the Peacock Gym in East London. Brian, we're going to be talking later to one of your charges, unbeaten super middleweight, Umar Sadiq.
Yeah.
Just tell us a bit about how Umar came to train with you, because I believe you worked with him for the Olympic qualifiers, is that right?
Yeah, I was working with Umar on and off for the last, let's say, 4 or 5 years. Then he fell out of love with boxing for a while, then he went travelling, he travelled the world, he came back, and then he got the bug for boxing again. Then the opportunity came up for him to qualify for the Olympics via Nigeria. At that time I was still working with all the guys I'm working with now. He felt comfortable, so he came along, and that was it. He didn't qualify, but he gave it a good go. But sometimes it's not who's in front of you, it's who's sitting around the ring.
And is it right, the first time you guys kind of worked together was that he was fighting another Repton fighter in a championships, and they had to have neutral trainers rather than Repton club trainers?
That's right, yeah. I had the kid who was in there at the time from West Ham, but like you say, it was 2 Repton fighters fighting, so I had to find neutral coaches, so I volunteered. Umar knew me, so that was perfect. And I thought he walked all over it. Last round I said, "You've won this, just don't do anything silly, you've won it. You pick this kid's head off." And you can't even say it was because he was fighting a Repton boy, because he was a Repton boy himself, but he didn't get the nod. But you know, sometimes you have to take it on the chin, and that's what he done at night.
He didn't start boxing until he was 16, he didn't have his first bout until he was 20. Is that a help or a hindrance for you, in that there's no kind of bad habits that he's picked up and you can start with a blank canvas?
It's good and bad. I mean, the earlier you start to walk, the better you can walk. But some kids that they're in the gym from their 8, and by the time they get to 16 they're burnt out. They fall out of love with it because their parents are taking them to the gym. It seems like a chore they have to do. And once they get a bit of free will and free spirit, they just don't want to do it, they kind of rebel against it. So 16 is not a bad age. That's the age when Lawrence started, around about 16. As long as you're committed to it and you enjoy it, then the younger the better, but 16 is not a bad age at all.
And also the fact that, as you said, he fell out of love with boxing for a bit, but came back to it, and also left a highly paid job as an accountant to come back to it. Does that tell you a lot about him as a person? Yeah,
because he's not satisfied with just a 9-to-5 job. If he's got a dream and aspiration, he'll give it 110%. So that's what he's doing now. He's fitting his life around boxing, and he's giving it 110%, and it's showing.
What do you think makes him stand out among the other kind of super middleweight, light heavyweight prospects at the moment? What does he do differently or better than they do?
He's got the perfect style, the perfect size. He's got the perfect reach for super middle. He could be light heavy. When he started off as light heavy. We didn't even think we'd get him down to super middle. But he did. I said, try and get down to the weight at least once. If you can get down to the weight, then we can target that weight. And within 2 weeks of his first saying that to him, he got down to the weight. That showed me that he was committed.
He's 30 now, I believe. He's, from interviews I've read with him, he's looking to be fast-tracked. Are you kind of fully behind that? Do you agree that he's ready to be fast-tracked towards British title level?
Yeah, I mean, all my fighters, I'm 100% confident in them. So to be fast-tracked, he's only going to be fast-tracked to British level. And then we'll take our time to pick whoever we've got to pick. So to get to British level, I'm confident in all my fighters, because I know they put the work in, I know they're committed.
And there's been rumours that the next fight could possibly be against another unbeaten prospect in Zac Chelly. Obviously, both got the same promoter. Is that a fight you would welcome, a kind of London derby?
Yeah, 100%. I welcome any fight for Umar. I don't see Zac Chelly as a problem. He's a good fighter, but I don't see him as a problem. You know, I don't know how he works, but he doesn't know how I works. And so far, of all the fighters I've put out as a pro, you know, I've got good results.
And talking about British title level, who would you like to see him face once he gets there? Is it straight in with the champion? Do you want to see him have an eliminator first? What's the plan for him?
The only plan with all of them is for them to be able to do the rounds. They're only going to be able to do the rounds once they've done the rounds. And even if they're fit enough to do the rounds, the experience of doing the rounds counts for a great deal. So once I can see him do it once, that he's done the rounds, then we'll face anyone.
And with guys like Rocky Fielding, who's just won the WBA regular title, you've got George Groves, of course, and Callum Smith in the WBSS final. So they've kind of moved on from domestic level very much so now. Is it wide open domestically at 12 stone?
I think so. Because the likes of Groves and Fielding, they've been there for a while, kind of thing. So naturally they're going to have to move on. the difference with Umar, once he gets there, he's going to be fast track, so he won't be there for so long. But once, like I say, once they're used to doing the rounds, that's the only thing that will give me more confidence in what their ability is to do now.
Is that a bit of a pattern with your guys in that, you know, Lawrence is exactly the same. They started a bit later, they've been fast-tracked, they've got the talent, they did very well as amateurs, and you don't stay too long at a certain level. Is there a method behind that in that, you know, you don't want them to rest on their laurels or become complacent?
It's all about confidence, really. Once they've got the confidence to do it, and once I've got the confidence in them. I mean, I haven't been doing this overnight. I walked into the boxing gym when I was 1974, so I've been doing it a fair while. So I know how you can get stale. I know that it's important to stay confident, and I know what fast tracking is, and the way we're doing it is not really fast tracking. It's just we're confident in what we're doing, and so we'll go ahead.
1974? How old are you?
57.
Bloody hell, you look a lot younger than 57. Yeah, I want some of what you're having. Brian was doing a big weight set when we first came in here, so you're quite a fit 57-year-old. Well done. Just before we move on to talk about Lawrence, what's the ceiling, if there is one, for Umar? You know, you've worked with him for a long time now. How far do you see him going?
It's all about time, really, how much time he's willing to put in. So if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's all about how much time he's willing to put in. At the moment, he's willing to put in 100%. So if he's willing to put in 100%, I'm 100% behind him.